now I really, like, at the start of the relationship, I felt this way. At the start of this relationship, I was worried that you were going to find someone more beautiful than me, or even someone with more background that relates to your background. Someone
someone who's more compatible with me or something, or more,
right, in so many ways.
Someone who's smarter than you.
Yeah,
sure.
So
all
even
those
from
things.
the start of the relationship, when I had no reason to think, because of the problems that we've had, you were going to leave me. But now I really do have reason to believe that, and it's even like I wasn't expecting, because I felt like I had been working, like I felt like I'd been improving with jealousy. I really thought I had, but then, like, because we've been having so many relationship difficulties, I was like, well, this is the time. If you were going to leave me, it would be now, because you're basically on the cusp of leaving me. So, like, if somebody more beautiful, more studies Chinese, like, has been to Laos, has been to China, hell yeah, you're gonna jump off and get on somebody else's ship, not mine. Because why do you want to come down with me? It's burning. The ship is burning with me.
Right.
So go on to somebody else's ship.
But
that is really why it's the insecurity of you leaving me and me never finding somebody that I love as much as you.
A lot of people live with the comforting delusion that what they feel, others will know. That all you have to do is be upset and hope that others will empathize with you, will care for you, will take pity on you. Some of us, perhaps especially stereotypically, some of us who are large, self-confident, well-spoken male members of the species, some of us have to learn the hard way that if we do not speak for our feelings, if we do not give voice to just how hurt we are, just how damaged we are, nobody else around us will guess. Nobody else will show an interest. Nobody will care, not even those who are closest to us in our lives. I had a situation with Melissa a couple of months ago where I was sitting at a kitchen table working with pen and paper, and she really hurt me. She was really cruel, and she was really vicious to me, unprovoked, for no reason at all. And I told her openly at that moment, I can't believe you're doing this to me. I can't believe how much you're hurting me. But I drew her attention to it a couple of hours later, that I was still sitting there working with pen and paper at that table. And I said, I want you to really look at me. I want you to see that I'm still trembling. I want you to see that you've really had an emotionally devastating effect on me. I was trembling for, I think, 3 hours. I was really devastated by, what she'd done to me, what she'd said to me that day. And I said at that time, while I was there still trembling, I said, I wasn't this upset, I wasn't this hurt when my father died, or when my grandmother died, or when some guy with a machete tried to kill me up on the border between Thailand and Laos. Those things were not nearly so upsetting, nearly so damaging. And when we talked about this just a couple of days ago, we talked about this event from a few months ago. What she said to me was that she didn't really take the lesson from that example. She didn't really sink in for her, because fundamentally she did not want to believe that she could hurt me that way. She preferred to believe that I was invulnerable because I'm older than her, I'm wiser than her, I'm smart. She looks up to me in various ways. She would prefer to think that she didn't have the power to really hurt me that way. Well, she does, and she did. And over the course of more than 2 years, this relationship has really damaged me. It has really broken me down. There have been a lot of challenges for both of us. My girlfriend Melissa has become like a second mother to my daughter. She'd never really traveled anywhere in the world before, and together we've traveled around Europe, around Asia, also around California a little bit. She's seen so many places, done so many things. She's read so many books. She's had a very intellectually stimulating couple of years with me, And of course, she's had the challenges of the relationship itself, of getting to know me and getting to know my sorrows and my struggles and being a part of my life, no doubt. But when she looks back at those 2 years, when she looks back at what we've been through together, she's able to say that it's been a period of personal growth, of personal improvement, that she's come closer to being the idealized person she might aspire to be. And when I look back at those same 2 years, I can't say that at all. Instead, I look at these as 2 years in which she has really, really broken me down, in which I've really just, when she emotionally damages me that way, I just accumulate the damage. The harm is done, and I stay harmed. And I really liked the person that I was just 3 years ago, say, just before she and I got together, at the time we first got together. I don't really like the person that I am now. I used to be fundamentally a much more optimistic and much more creative person with a sense of purpose and direction. And, now I've got to tell you, I'm just a wreck. This is the sort of thing, as I said at the start of this segment, nobody will suspect, nobody will care unless you come out and tell them, especially if you are a self-confident, well-spoken man. People will not believe that you're suffering, not even when you're trembling in front of them, not even when you're weeping. If you don't come out and really say, if you don't really speak your truth, if you don't tell your side of the story, if you don't explain to them the harm that they've done you, even when they've seen it for themselves, even when it's self-evident, the impact, they'll never care. They'll never make the effort to change.
Rationally, that doesn't even help. It doesn't help the situation.
My question is, what you've just presented is really a clearly reasoned narrative. That makes sense. When I'm with you and you're freaking out and screaming,
you're like, no.
But my point is, that's what you're saying now, reflecting on it. Yeah. I don't really believe that's what's going on with you when you have these freak out. What you just presented was a totally rational train of thought. Because I've pushed you to the brink with breaking up with me already. Yeah. Because therefore I feel this way. But I just say in terms of the feeling and then the behavior that comes out of it, that doesn't seem to be what's actually going on. So I'm just saying what you've just said, that could kind of be addressed and that could be fixed. But I think that would not be, it wouldn't fix the problem. We can even just see within the span of this relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My experience of this relationship has been Melissa crossing the line with me repeatedly, Melissa really harming me, really breaking my heart repeatedly, me dumping her, me making the decision to end the relationship repeatedly, and then Melissa begging, pleading, and to some extent negotiating, making promises. Melissa begging her way back into the relationship, getting me to give her another chance, give her another opportunity for the long-term future of the relationship. And I've made that decision to give her another chance under extraordinary pressure. Extraordinary pressure partly because I don't want to hurt Melissa. I love Melissa. Partly because I don't want to disappoint my mom. But above all else, because I don't want to disappoint my daughter. My daughter really loves Melissa. And I feel like one of the few gifts I can really give my daughter is trying to make this relationship work with Melissa. So the next time I see my daughter, Melissa and I are there as a couple. My daughter really loves and really appreciates Melissa and the time they spend together. And I never talked about this on YouTube. We never talked about any of the breakups. Maybe they were obliquely alluded to in some videos. And for the reasons I already stated, I wish I had. I wish I had come here on camera and really said, I wish I'd come on camera weeping and let it out and really sat here and said, Melissa, I can't believe you did this to me. I can't believe you hurt me this way. Because maybe if she heard it that way, maybe if she saw it that way, and maybe if she knew it was public, you know what I mean? Maybe she would have taken it seriously. Maybe she would have changed her behavior. Because on some level, even though she really is capable of being rational and detached and talking about these things in a conversational way, it seems very positive. After she calms down, she can apologize and she can speak about these things rationally. It breaks my heart to look back at the last 2 years, 2.5 years. It breaks my heart to look back and say, every single time I've given her another chance, I have regretted it. Every single time she's let me down.
So, look, it's kind of a tangentially related thing, but I mean, something I think is really important ethically is if you were going to break up with someone, talking about a commitment relationship, whether it's a marriage or long-term, dating, this wouldn't be if you just met someone last week, you know what I mean? Not if you're just barely getting to know someone. But if you're going to break up with someone where you're in a real committed, supportive relationship, I think it always has to be, in principle, you're breaking up with them to be alone. I think you should never break up with someone for someone else, neither for the abstract idea that someone else could be better, nor for another particular person. I'm going to leave you for Becky or something. For me, ethically, that's really important. And we've talked that through before, where it's look, Melissa, if I end this, it's because this should end. The relationship's not good, it's not working. And in and of itself, making that judgment. And again, for me at 40 years old, it's reasonable to say I could be alone for a long time or for the rest of my life. It could have that kind of gravity in my life. I have no reason to think, it's not even no reason to think I can do better. I have no reason to think anything else is ever going to come between 40 and 60. I really am not joking. So the point is, that's how I frame that decision ethically.
No, man, you're going to be like Dusty. You're going to have all these ladies hitting you up after being 40. Sorry.
No problem.
Try to...
Inside, you succeeded. You succeeded.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, you're probably right that this is just me rationalizing it's my behavior when it was really just
which doesn't mean it's false. I mean, I'm just saying I think that's a rational account of something, but that is in principle.
Yeah.